Welcome to the Route 66 Suite video series. I'm Nolan Stoltz. In episode 128, I'm asking how many miles of Route 66 in Kansas? So if it's 13.2 miles, which version? Are we talking about the original from 1926 to 27, the second alignment, or the final alignment? Let's take a look. Until the early to mid 60s, 66 came into Kansas here on Front Street, and we are just east of Galena. And then Front Street curves to the left a bit. This is the most popular alignment. Lots of kitschy things like this, a lot of Cars movie references, like Cars on the Route. 66 turns left onto Main, right in front of Cars on the Route, across the street from this Front Street garage. Heads down Main, we pass Gearhead Curios, and at 1.7 miles, we turn right onto 7th. 66 heads out of Galena directly west, but we have to take a little detour around this roundabout, and then we get to the Rainbow Bridge. So with the exception of about a mile of Front Street, we're on the first and second alignments of 66. So this is from 1926 to around 1964. And calculating this second alignment, we get to the bridge and we're at 7.2 miles. 66 actually stayed straight here, but we're going to have to detour around. And then we get to the end of Kansas. It's actually used to be called Commonwealth. It totals 12.9 miles, not 13.2. So let's check the original, see if that is 13.2. So we're back on Front Street, but instead of curving left, we're going to cross the railroad. Now, you can't do that here. You have to detour around. But we'll pick it up on the other side. This is Clark Street. So this was just 66 for maybe about a year. Going this way is only about a tenth of a mile longer. So instead of 7.2 miles to the Rainbow Bridge, it's 7.3. In Baxter Springs, originally made a hard right onto 30th. The second alignment takes the curve, but that only shaved off about 250 feet. So really, the total is 13.0 miles. Still not 13.2. Now we check the third alignment. It came into Kansas a little bit to the south of the original alignment, but it joins in downtown Galena. It's pretty much the same until you get to the roundabout, and then it heads southwest and then turns directly south onto Military Avenue and into Baxter Springs. We get to the end, totals 11.2. Still not 13.2. So I suspect the 13.2 number comes from all these little detours that one needs to make on the modern roads, and I call this the post-Route 66 path. If you take all of those and add those to the second alignment, you get 13.1. So you've got the roundabout, and then by the Rainbow Bridge, there's a little bit. Historically, we could say Kansas had 13 miles of Route 66, then it had 12.9, and then eventually 11.2. The 13.2 is therefore the modern road taking the second alignment. But why just do one alignment? Why not take all three? Let's add them up. So if we take the original alignment, that adds another mile. Coming in from Kansas on the third alignment adds 1.3 miles, and taking that same alignment from the roundabout down into Baxter Springs, 3.3 miles. Leaving Baxter Springs, you've got the extra 0.3 miles with that curve, and then if you take the very original alignment, that hard right, Roberts onto 30th, that adds a tenth of a mile. And that totals 18.9 miles of Route 66 in Kansas. According to Jim Ross's Deep Tracks maps, there might be another original alignment into Baxter Springs, adding another half a mile. So we're actually at 19.4 miles of Route 66 in Kansas. And why only experience Route 66 westbound? Historically speaking, people traveled it eastbound as well. I always encourage Route 66 trips that are round trip. If you do that, you're getting 37.8 miles of exploring Route 66 in Kansas. 38.8 if you count that extra mile east and west on that original alignment. That's possible. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little trip around Kansas And more importantly, I hope you think about the so called 13.2 miles a little bit differently. Enjoy 66. Thanks for watching.